Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Cousin
Connection Podcast.
This is episode 27, coming at you live from my home base, aka our studio.
Yeah, this really is our studio, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So, if you really saw what was on the other side of this thing, you'd be a little concerned. There's a lot of workplace hazards in this room to make this work.
I have to document this 1 second.
The background? Mm-hmm. You're going to expose me?
A little bit. Let's just take a photo with our watermelon on the table.
Oh, shoot. I forgot that was there. Let's take that off.
Sure it's like in the frame, too.
It's out of frame now. It's all good.
Okay, whatever. Okay. It's fine.
We got to stay hydrated for these, okay? Watermelons are great for staying hydrated and also for having a little sweet, gift. Instead of having, sugar or, some, cookies or whatever.
I still
have some watermelon. Yeah, I guess me too. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So first off, thank you again, guys, for coming to listen to us or watch us on YouTube. And, we're seeing the numbers going up. We're seeing everybody getting more engaged. We're seeing the comments. Thank you to all the people out there leaving your comments and suggestions. We definitely take them all in heed. Is that the saying?
No.
We take them in and we
What were you trying to say?
Isn't in heed when you make note of it? We all make note of your comments.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what are you trying to say?
But yeah. So it's great to see that you guys are liking what we're putting out there, and we'll just continue to bring back some better quality material for y'all, and make sure this is both a give and take relationship here.
Exactly. Okay? And I love when our friends in real life watch us and support us, and they're regular listeners and regular viewers. It always I find I'm more nervous when people know us.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I'm always on the run. So for me, it's oh, okay, you listen to podcasts? Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. I'll be walking away.
No, because I also
I maybe because I do feel awkward, so I don't want to stick around for too long to let me know.
Oh, I linger.
You linger?
I'm just what's your favorite episode?
I think I literally did that yesterday. You were talking to some people. I was like, oh, you guys listen to podcasts? And I literally just walked away.
You abandoned the conversation?
I abandoned it completely.
So I was there doing it. Mm-hmm. Those who are in that conversation will know when they listen to this.
Okay, so yeah, Sada came with some great, hard hitting topic today. Let's bring the vibes not down, but let's bring them to some more mellow, real. We've been playing a little too much in the last few podcasts, so we're gonna talk about some hard hitting topics and stuff that we really have to dive deep into.
Yeah, and actually this topic this week, we're going to call it Sad Girl Fall. It's not specified for girls, though. It could just be the vibe of the season changing and all that.
Sad person fault.
Sad person.
All inclusive.
But what inspired this one is actually there was a TikTok. Did you see it? I sent it to you.
Which one? The Adele one? Yeah.
Yeah, so this girl on TikTok, this woman, whatever you want to call her. Anyways, this person on TikTok made this video. So
not you being politically correct.
I know, right? Okay. So Adele has a new song called Easy on Me. And, people interpret music and lyrics, I guess, in ways that are appropriate to their life and whatever, right? So she had a really interesting take on it, and I was like, wow, I would have never.
Well, she was kind of reacting to the I guess the reaction to the song by Millennials.
Yeah, she was generalizing.
Yeah, she was she was trying to break down why a lot of millennials were gravitating towards the song and relating to it, even though it didn't seem at first like it was something in relation to what they thought it was, which you can break down.
Yeah, so I mean, if you haven't listened to the song, her song is about her divorce.
Why did I clear my throat?
I know, right? So, the person on TikTok was talking about how this song has hit millennials so hard because a lot of us kind of, I think, did she bring up the fact that which we've already spoken about, but the fact that we grew up with the age of social media and the internet in general and the pressures that were placed on a lot of us.
And how we were given a bad hand, basically, in regards to like
You sound so ungrateful.
no. But it is true. Like a lot of the we always talk about the generations,
I
and we
know.
always forget.
I know. I never.
But the
know who's
generation
who.
before us, how like they kind of screwed us when it comes to having livable wages, being able to buy a house, all that stuff. When they were able to do it, the generation before us, pretty easily, and with not really, you don't really need a big job or some like high paying job to be able to live a pretty normal life.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know about you guys, but if anyone is like on TikTok, the comments really make the video.
Mm-hmm.
So I was scrolling through the comments, and a lot of the millennials, people our age and a little bit older, a little bit younger, were saying that like that's what we get for being raised by baby boomers. And I was like, whoa, like I didn't realize that. And I'm like, wait, are our parents baby boomers?
Technically they are, yeah.
Yeah, they fall into that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so then that kind of inspired my thought process when I was coming up with like the topic for this week. So, you know, Sad Girl Fall kind of encompasses a very wide, broad spectrum of topics, right? So I kind of wanted to focus on things that I was personally going through. I think a lot of people could relate to this as well. I know that there's something called seasonal depression that hits a lot of people when the seasons transition from like summer to fall to winter. And I know we like spoke about this in one of our early episodes, I think, right? When we were talking about
we've definitely like I feel like our early episodes were a lot breaking down like the trauma
like,
and
we
like,
really talked about it,
things that we go through on the daily.
And so one of the first points that I put in was finding yourself during your healing process. And so what I kind of meant by that was sometimes, regardless of what you're healing from, it could be anything. Sometimes when you're going through a healing process, you uncover truths about yourself. You have to kind of accept that maybe you have toxic tendencies, maybe you have childhood trauma that you have to deal with, maybe you have some ugly traits within yourself that you now have to learn how to, I guess, unlearn those habits in order to become a better person. And so this was something that I personally went through as well. Like, you know, when you're going through something and you when you have that realization, like, oh, like I really am this way.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, like, for me, it was so hard to accept because, you know, like as human beings, we all have egos, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to believe that you're like a
egotistical or you don't want to believe you're a bad person or
that
like you fall short in a lot of things.
Right. It's always the other person's fault. So like, have you ever been in that position where like if you were going through something and you're kind of in your head and you're, you know, being self-aware, where you realize like, oh, maybe I am.
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
How do you like process it though?
Well, the fact that I'm super self-aware, like I'm processing it almost as it's happening sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago with that whole situation where we had like an event that we were doing, and I found myself overreacting to it, and immediately like after when I met those people, I apologized and I was like took responsibility right away.
That's really good.
But that's just because I'm like super self-aware and always like over critiquing my actions. So now before I might have held it in and just be like just kept that in, but now I just immediately I'll tell someone if I feel like I'm overreacting in some way.
That's good. That's really good because I like if you're able to recognize that immediately, like mashallah.
It wasn't right away though. I'm telling like okay, maybe like a few years ago it would have been a lot worse. Like I would overreact and maybe go overboard and say things I shouldn't say. Especially when I was like younger, I was really.
You were a little bit of a hothead.
Yeah, I was a hothead.
When I remember, like you used to get so mad.
Yeah. But now, I don't know. I think it's because you learn from your mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And you learn from your experiences. So I took those experiences, and because it helped that I was self-aware, I processed them and thought about how I could do better in the future. So I'm almost at that level where like I feel like I've learned how to what do you call it again? How to do things better, how to react to things better, how to treat people better, that kind
How
of
to
thing.
unlearn toxic habits, develop
Yeah, I learned to
response.
unlearn those toxic habits.
I
Exactly.
literally wrote that sentence out.
Mhm. I'm not saying I'm perfect though. Like there's still a lot of things probably I have to work on, or there are. I said probably, but there are. Just cut that out. There are a lot of things I do need to work on personally, but I feel like when it comes to interacting with other people and things that are more like forward facing, I've kind of gotten better at those.
That's good. I mean, at the end of the day, you are only really in control in how you respond to things.
Exactly.
So
yeah, having
or how
control.
react.
Yeah, control is the biggest thing. Once you start overreacting or giving someone else control to the situation, and you almost lose yourself. Yeah, that's why I say you lose control, right?
Yeah.
When you get angry, then that you've already lost.
Yeah,
Whatever battle you're facing.
yeah, that's true. How about like when it comes to like, because once you recognize that you know, maybe have these quote unquote, we don't have to call them bad habits, but we can just say these habits that you no longer want to be part of your life. How do you go because once you kind of recognize it, sometimes it's not like an epiphany where you're like, aha, I'm toxic. You're more like, oh my God, like it's almost like it weighs heavy on you, because when you realize like you are the problem, you can easily spiral downwards and kind of become like very self-deprecating.
Yeah.
But how do you kind of take it and spin it in a positive way to go to like literally unlearn the habits? Because I was reading, I can't remember what I was reading. A lot of my thoughts, I'm not smart, okay? I just formulate them based on what I read.
Yeah.
But I realized that sometimes certain habits that we have, the way that we react to things, the way that we communicate, they're all responses to childhood trauma. So I think, you know, nowadays I feel like especially our generation, we're so self-aware, and we're actually putting in the work to educate ourselves on what is childhood trauma. That doesn't necessarily, I'm just going to preface that for a quick minute, because like, just because you have childhood trauma doesn't mean you come from a bad family, doesn't mean that you have bad parents or you had a horrible childhood. I think that
because the moment you say trauma, people immediately go to like the extreme.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to clarify that that's not what it means. Sometimes, and it can happen even now, like if we ever become parents and have kids, I think the reason why our generation is putting in so much work to heal ourselves is that when we eventually become parents one day, we want to break that generational curse, you know, like without realizing it. Our parents aren't intentionally hurting us. Like I read something where it was something along the lines of like, when your parents are raising you, they're also raising themselves.
Yeah.
Like, they're literally growing up with us. So any mistakes that they may have unintentionally made, it may have some sort of effect on us, but if we can catch it while we're still alive and able to, you know, better ourselves, that's great for us. And so, you know, when I was like looking at it within myself, I'm like, okay, how do I, when all you know is one way of life or lifestyle, how do you literally change your life? Like it's so hard to do.
The thing is, the solution is so much more pragmatic than you really think, because like any process of learning just requires you to start small and just work your way through it. Like it requires practice.
Yeah.
Essentially, everything requires practice. If you want to change your life in how you think, like you have to put steps in place and practice at it. Like when you're in those situations, you might not do it perfectly. You might stumble on whatever you're trying to stop yourself from doing, but the next time you get better at it, and the next time you get better at it, and you just have to hope that the people that you're interacting with will give you the grace to realize that you're still learning, and
it's not always the case though.
Then it's on them at that point, you know. So everyone is still learning. Everyone's going through a process, and like that's at least how I like. That's why I always give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you're really good at that.
Because I don't know where that person is in their life. I don't know what's going through their mind. Yeah, I know what's going through my mind half the time, or or all the time. I mean, if I knew what's going through my mind half the time, I'd be a little concerned. But because I know what I'm going through and what's going through my mind, I have to give that person that same grace and be like, okay, I don't know what they're going through. I don't know what trauma they've gone through in their life that makes them the person they are right now. So we both have to recognize that we're both on this journey. We're both trying to learn to be better people. Hopefully the other person is trying to be a better person. You may not see it in their actions, but maybe they're doing it in the background and they're just starting that journey while you might already be halfway through yours.
That is a really good mentality to have.
I'm telling you, it gets annoying. I know you get annoyed by how like
we literally, I think, was it last week?
Yeah,
this
it was like
past
last
week,
week.
we had a little incident, and I was like texting Amir, kind of like venting, and this man was like voice noting me. Amir sent me voice notes.
Yeah, I sent like one voice note.
It was 2 actually.
Oh yeah, like 2.
But he really put things into perspective, and he was like, stop that. Like, don't put that thought into your head. And I was like, damn, he's right. But I immediately snapped out of it because I was like, I'm still learning too, and part of not just being a better person but being a good Muslim, or at least striving towards that, is to give people the benefit of the doubt, your Muslim brothers and sisters. But on that note, where you were saying like how to unlearn the toxic habits and develop better ones is to practice. And that kind of brings me to my next point of like, while you're practicing, it's inevitable. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall short. How do you cope with the disappointment that you might feel when you've just taken 5 steps forward and then you take 10 steps back?
Well, do you want to break it down? I can break it down because I have a thought on this too.
No, yeah, go ahead. I'm
well, like
you.
My thought is that another part of like everybody being on their journey is that we're also human, and a lot of our journeys are not linear, if that makes sense. You want to, ideally, you want your life to grow in a linear way. You want to start, not knowing anything and reaching the top in like a straight line, learning as you're going kind of thing. But people, like, they'll go up, they'll be at the top, and then they'll just drop back down. Maybe there's a couple things that happen in their life where they just find themselves like what they consider rock bottom, and then they start building up again and it goes down. So just realizing that life is not linear can at least maybe ease that thought of thinking that you're taking steps back, but really those steps back may be experiences that you needed to learn or needed to experience to learn from them, and then use them to move forward even faster in whatever you're trying to learn, or grow even faster than you were before.
The crazy
or not
thing,
faster, but you know what I mean.
No, I get you. The crazy thing is that I literally like was having this conversation with myself this week, and one thing that I realized about myself, and this is me being super vulnerable and honest, okay guys, so hence the jokes. But I realized, and maybe this is like an ego thing, I don't know what it is, but I feel like although I'm preaching these things about healing isn't linear, like we're preaching all about this like self-care and bettering yourself and all that stuff, but I find that whenever I'm faced with that scenario, whatever you want to call it, I almost like hold myself to a higher standard, like you should know better, like you shouldn't be feeling this way, and then I become more self-deprecating. And it's like that. So
maybe you need to change the way you're reacting to it, like internally. Instead of using deprecating thoughts, be like, okay, how can I react to this better? Like make it more of a positive thing. Like, how can I learn from this instead of how could I have done this, if that makes sense?
That's exactly like the realization that I came to, because like, let's just divide my week, okay? So there's 7 days in this week. By the first half, I was like, self-loathing, like, oh, like how did I do, like I should have known better, like I'm such a fraud, like I literally had imposter syndrome in that moment where I'm like, oh my god, like here I am on the podcast acting like I have my life together, but really I don't. And then like by midweek I was like, no, like do what you tell other people to do, like literally take your own advice, like what are you doing? So I there's actually this book, I totally forgot to bring it. And this book is legit therapy in book form.
Is it Atomic Habits?
No, it's called Gentle Reminders. I'll
actually, Atomic Habits is a different thing.
I have no idea what that is.
Sorry.
I literally don't even know.
You don't? No. I thought you're the one who mentioned it to me.
What is it called?
Atomic Habits?
No. What is it?
Okay. I forget who mentioned it to me. Yeah,
it wasn't me.
What was yours? Gentle Reminders?
Yeah, Gentle Reminders. And it's like, I'm not even joking. As I was reading this book, I'm like, oh my god, how does this like perfectly like describe, explain, and break
Mhm.
down exactly how I'm feeling. Like it
Mhm.
was like I was kind of shook a little bit and kind of
Yeah.
scared. Like, whoa, this book knows everything. But it was so good. Like I literally for 2 days straight, I was like reading it nonstop on my commute to work and stuff, and like
Mhm.
just super into this book that it really just shifted my entire mindset.
Mhm.
And that brought me to my next point here. So I was building these points throughout the week, and you
Yeah.
can see here where it says, you know, forgiving yourself for past mistakes and acknowledging that you probably will make more mistakes in the future.
Mhm.
And that's what I realized. I'm like, you know what? I'm bound to make I've made mistakes.
Mhm.
I'm learning from it, or at least trying to,
Mhm.
and I'm probably going to make mistakes as I go.
Yeah.
But that's just life. All I can do is try not to make the same mistake over and over and over again. That being said, that brings me to my next point
Yeah.
here, where one of my friends, as I was explaining my thought process, literally said this quote to me, and I was like speechless.
Mhm.
And he was saying, "The world is patient. It will continue to teach you the same lesson for the same mistake over and over and over again until you learn."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh, true.
It's true. Exactly. Like,
That's very true."
yeah, because if you're gonna find yourself in that situation again, you keep making the same choices.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's gonna change until you make a different choice.
Who said that? Who said that one quote where it's like,
the craziness is what is it called, like repeating the same action and expecting a different result. I forget. That's not the exact quote, but it's roughly, it's a paraphrasing of exactly what that quote is.
I have to search it up.
Okay, search it up right
We
now.
have this laptop here for a reason. Okay.
I just remember it because it was in a game. Far
feel
Cry
like
3 people, remember?
My guess is Albert Einstein.
Mm-hmm. Maybe No. Just search the definition of crazy.
Really?
Yeah, just search the definition of crazy. I've heard like the Joker say it a few times.
Insanity.
Definition of insanity, exactly. That's what it was.
Oh, it's literally. Oh, here it is. Albert Einstein.
Oh, what's that? Okay.
Look at that.
Look at you remembering names.
He basically said insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's what it was.
That's what I said.
I mean, like, sort of. But yeah, so that's my input on this.
Well,
that's all I had written down.
So,
so the rest is gonna be.
Girl's like, it's gonna be a full podcast. No, but okay. So now we talked about our side of it. What's your, I guess, opinion on the people who are saying, "Oh, we're just overreacting. We're trying to make issues out of things that aren't issues." Like, you know, the people who are trying to be super toxic and saying like all this like self-help stuff bull is like totally rubbish. Like, you don't really need it. You know, this is we're all just living the same lives here, trying to make our way through that kind of thing. What's your opinion on those people who just say this is all like bull? Like, we're all just trying to make issues out of nothing.
I think that like a lot of people are very resistant to change, right? And remember how I was talking about the human beings have an ego, right? So if you're calling somebody out and saying, "Hey, you're toxic," first of all, it's going to hurt their ego. And then second, when they realize like, okay, even if they accept, okay, I'm toxic, they're going to have to change their ways. Human beings naturally are resistant to change. Some of them are open to it. Okay.
Yeah.
But like in general, we're pretty resistant to change. So I would say that it's not bull. It's very real. Like I was saying earlier, I think our generation is really honing in on it, and the generation after us, whichever one they are, X, Y, Z, who cares? Whichever one y'all are, I feel like they're.
I think it. You know, I'm not even gonna say. Go ahead.
It'll be up here maybe. Like, and you'll have little asterisks like it's Gen Z. Okay?
I literally keep forgetting, man. I don't know. I've looked at the chart like 3-4 times now.
I feel like we literally need to have it open all the time.
Pull it up right now.
I'm just gonna pull it up. You know, just to. What do I search up?
Generations of humans.
Really?
No, just generations of people. Okay, here, let's see.
I don't know if this is the one.
I forget what I searched, honestly.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Baby boomers. Gen X. Gen X is before us.
Oh, we're Gen Y?
Are we?
Yeah. Gen X is before us. Like, they're the...
Okay, no. We're Gen Z. Gen Z.
No, we're not.
No, that's 80 to 84.
No, it's not. Okay, that's a really blurry
You can't
photo.
read.
It's blurry.
Yeah, but I can still read it. You're wearing glasses, too, and I'm sitting farther away from you.
Hold on. Why isn't there like a clear photo?
Can I say like a really controversial statement?
What are you about to say? Glasses don't help you. You're still blind.
I feel like no. What? Wait, what did you say? What did you say? I legit didn't even hear.
I thought you were gonna say glasses don't help you because you're still blind.
No, that's not controversial.
Yeah, it is. It's an insult. All right, okay. My bad. Go ahead.
But I feel like you know what the most spoiled generation. You know how they say like millennials are more spoiled or Gen Z is more spoiled. I really feel like baby boomers are like the most spoiled generation. Because think about it, like they got everything they wanted in the age that they grew up. Because for them, like the economy was great. You could buy a house with like a regular job working at a grocery store. There's a lot
Imagine.
and at that point, like I'm talking more like in like the white people, because I feel like black people were really going through it around that time.
They were,
but the white people, man, like and that's why we're seeing all these Karens. And what's the guy version of it?
Is it Kyle or?
It's like Steve or something like that. Think of some white name, but like there's a reason we're seeing a lot of them who are being super entitled out here with these videos of them calling out people for just living life. Like there will literally be black people just in a building and they'll come up to them and be like, "Do you live here? I've never seen you before." What? Five generations?
I'm listening though.
Oh, okay, that's the one you're looking at. Yeah. So I just feel like they're probably the most. It's like we get a lot of the flack for it, saying like, "Oh, we're spoiled" or whatever, and we get everything. But really, if you think about it, we were dealt like the worst hand. We're in the worst economy. We're in the worst age of buying houses. Like we're in the worst. What do you call it again? I mentioned economy, but get more specific. Like it's impossible to live a good life out here if you just have a regular job. Like if you
don't you remember when maybe 20 years ago having a bachelor's degree was like you're the you're the SHIT.
You could get out of high school and get a pretty good job and like buy a house and have a whole family by the age of like 25.
And here we are, 28.
29. Well, you really got to flex your age on me. Yeah, I see how it is.
You know how it is. Sorry.
Like I said
the
last
young
time,
ones on this
see you in 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
Exactly. Now it hits you, eh?
Let's just not talk about it, okay? But
that's why what I'm trying to get at is like that's why like I feel like there's a lot more not mental issues but like mental health issues with people in our generation, because there's so much that is expected of us in a time where it's harder to get a lot of the things that are expected of expected of us to have.
Right.
Like now degrees are like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a high school diploma.
Exactly. When I found out that like degrees are like not really the way to go, and you could just it's all about the people you know and like finding the right program and like doing all the things. I was like, bun this, I'm going to college, I'm going for 3 years, I'm gonna pay a quarter of what y'all pay, and I'm still gonna get a good job and work my way up.
True.
Which is exactly, of course I didn't get paid as much as whoever on their first day, but you work your way up. You make and by the time that like I worked my way up to where I'd have a good wage, those people were just finishing school. Like y'all were just finishing school, basically. When I say those people, I mean y'all.
Listen, okay. I think that
and of course I had like all those years of experience, so if I did want to move on to another job, I have something to show for it.
That's true. And I just pulled up like a random photo here, and it does describe millennials as ambitious but also resilient and adaptable to change. I think
think about how much change has happened.
Yeah. And part of like being a millennial, and if any of you guys are, and maybe you can relate to this, is if you were raised by baby boomers, their mentality kind of shapes who you are, but then you also have to adapt to the changing society and the economy and how life has progressed from the 90s to the 2000s to the 2010s and so on, right? Like
I feel like life has changed at like an exponential rate in the past like 30-40 years than it has in the past 200 years, just because of the change with technology. Once internet was not discovered, but once it was like made available to everyone, literally like human ingenuity and growth has like went up 10 times faster than it was in the past hundreds of years.
That is true.
Because there's so much that has changed. Think about just 50 years ago, people couldn't imagine what was going on these days, and that's when our parents were alive. Well, a lot of our parents were alive.
Do you remember? Do you remember in school when they would like get you to? I remember like I think I was in like second grade, they got me to like we were doing this exercise where you had to draw what you thought life would look like in like 2020.
Yeah.
And I really thought we'd have flying cars.
Hey, we have flying cars. They're just not massively available. I'm just saying they're getting there.
Self-driving cars. Look at the Tesla.
Exactly. And that was the thing that people thought we'd have. And look, it's happening right now.
That's true.
And people are resistant to it, of course. They're saying like, oh, they're very dangerous or whatever. But you know, statistics show they're not that dangerous compared to actual people. Like, think about the amount of people who are actually getting in crashes every day.
True.
There's a reason that my drive back from work takes an hour and a half every day. Because
not the Brampton slander.
Yo, honestly, going across the city on rush hour traffic coming home has become the worst experience of the day. Because before it used to be fine. Yeah. Now it's like there's a crash on everyone. And that's people doing that. I don't see no Teslas in those crashes. I don't see no electric cars in those crashes. I think a Tesla is really the only one that has like real self-driving at this moment. There are a couple other companies working on it, but
it's to circle back to like the original question though, like those are the people. Okay, so here's the thing to kind of just sidetrack for a sec. Let's just talk about therapy for like 2.5 seconds. Okay. Therapy, I feel like especially this year and last year with COVID kind of changing the entire world, a lot of people's mental health was impacted. And so the topic of therapy, the idea of going to therapy was no longer taboo. Like it was so widely discussed and I was like, wow, that's amazing. But here's the thing, therapy is not for everyone. Yeah. Like it really isn't. Yeah. And
people will make you, they're like, it's almost like a cult. People will try and tell you that you need therapy. Like,
yeah. Haven't you heard like nowadays, like,
what?
There are people who be like, if he hasn't been to at least one therapy session, like he ain't for me.
What? That's not my side of TikTok.
If I told you so that you would die.
What? I would never. No.
But what I'm trying to say is,
not that I would never therapy. But, things change. Yeah.
Like, okay, look, therapy is ultimately like a therapist is not going to solve your problems. They just kind of help you identify what the problems are, and then they help you come up with solutions that work for you. They don't give you the answers. They can't. Like, no one can tell you what to do, right? Like at the end of the day, like you have to want to better yourself. And so we're also in the age of like self-help, where there's so many self-help books that if you have the correct tools, the right mentality, the open-mindedness, you can use those books to genuinely help you become a better person and shape your mindset into the way that you're looking to get your life to go, so whatever works for you, whether it's therapy, whether it's just seeking advice from friends or a trusted person, or self-help books, or I don't know what other
I don't know, talk to a friend.
yeah, like whatever works for you, as long as you're not the type of person that's like, I'm good as I am, I don't need to change anything, I don't need to grow, like I am who I am. Don't be that type of person.
Yeah, I think anyone who thinks like that probably needs the most work. Honestly, like there's a lot of ego and hubris that needs to be worked on over there. Yeah, so I think that really I think we covered that topic pretty well there. There's probably some stuff that we're missing, but
I mean, if you guys want to continue the conversation, DM us, comment on our YouTube video, whatever reach out to us however you do. We can definitely, I'd love to continue. Like, I love this topic. Amir.
Well, I have what? No,
I enjoy this topic, right?
No, I enjoy this topic too, because, it, at least for people who are listening, hopefully it helps them maybe implement a couple of things that we talked about on here. Yeah. Why not?
Sure.
But I do have another topic, because we're only around have more mark here, a couple of things here. So one thing that's been on my mind recently is a question of like, in this, I guess we're talking about like us as a people, what we're going through. Have we lost let me write down what I wrote down here. Have we lost our empathy as a society?
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
I either saw or read something about this recently, saying that we are such a me society now.
Yeah.
Or whatever what's it called? The me society? Where you're all about yourself and you're more selfish.
Yeah, all about me, all about I, or whatever. Yeah, but I feel like that's very true. Like the thing that brought that up was like you're hearing a lot of these stories now of like blatant acts of violence being done towards people. And instead of someone stepping in and helping them, people just whip out their cameras and take videos of it and just leave.
I literally saw someone record their grandma in a car accident. And they're like, grandma crashed her car. And she was like, the car's upside down. And the poor, did you see that video?
No, I didn't see that video, but I'm not surprised.
Like how, I was so shocked. Like, this can't be real. I thought it was staged, but it was real.
Yeah. And do you think the internet had anything to do with it?
Yeah, I think that social media, because social media really changed the way that news gets spread now to the rest of the world. It's literally instant.
Yeah.
Like, it's live. While it's happening, you have access to it.
Yeah.
How many revolutions have we seen across the world? And like, you know what I mean? So it's unfortunate. And I feel like people also know, right? Like, if you're the first person to give the world access, like you can really capitalize on that. And it kind of almost takes away the humanity between people, like rather than saying, hey, let me help you out, you're like, hey, are you okay? Or even this one is like a controversial one. Okay, I don't know how I feel about this, but you know, when someone's maybe helping out someone who's poor or homeless, and they have to literally record it, like them giving.
Because when you look at it from a different angle, what you're seeing is someone literally going like holding up a camera, walking up to the person like this, and they're trying to get the good angle of putting it so it's all in frame. Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely like how I've been thinking about it. Because now, like the first thought that comes to your mind, let's say you're in a really good moment, is not the moment that you're in, but I should really capture this on my phone.
It's literally Pixar. It didn't happen.
Yeah,
you know that
exactly. That statement encapsulates like why we, what do you call it again? We're not really in the moment anymore because we're trying to capture it in some way so we can share it and show people that we have done this or we're doing this or we've seen this, that kind of thing. So you can maybe get some type of social credit from it.
But so I've done both where for me, the reason why I would capture things is because I want to remember it. Yeah. And so like if I see, I don't know, if I'm like on vacation or whatever, I'm like, ooh, let me like get this real quick so that I can remember when I go back home or whatever. Yeah. But then I've also, on the contrary, have done like, let me just soak in what this feeling is like. And I would just like take in, without whipping out my phone, like just taking it all in. Yeah. And I actually still remember it. You know what I mean? Like, and even if I take just one photo, I don't let my entire experience be around taking photos and videos. You know?
Yeah. So. And I think we should be more aware of that as a people. Like, I know it's really good to share an experience. Like, you want to show people like, oh, like this is a great place, or this is a really nice view. I want to share it with you guys. But when it becomes everything that you start capturing and sharing right away, it's like, you know, keep some stuff to yourself. Yeah. At that point, it's like, who are you doing it for? Are you really experiencing this for yourself, or are you experiencing it for other people? Because I know there are literally travel packages made just so people can get the best views, so they can put them on social media, and like the advertisements will say like perfect for social media. Like, this is where an area you can take a post or a picture to post on your Instagram, and like this is a famous place that people take pictures at. Like, now it's literally a selling point to certain travel companies. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I also get like some people's job is literally posting stuff on Instagram.
But that's different. Like, I'm talking about when you're experiencing something, like, of course, when you're doing work, it makes sense because, you know, you're actually getting something from it. Right. But if you're just a normal individual who's kind of doing it.
If you're like us.
Yeah. Maybe it's because everybody kind of wants to be famous. You know, like let's say this podcast. Of course, my intention wasn't to become famous. I just wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah, it was just something that we just enjoy doing. And like, side note, when, you know how we were saying earlier that we were talking to our friends about starting the podcast, like one of the, oh my God, I lost my train of thought.
Come on now.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Okay. I was gonna say, although Amir and I have always been close, we've never had the opportunity to talk this in depth about topics
Anything,
so often that like I feel like we're also getting to know each other too while you guys are getting to know us. So this has been more so about like that, the quality conversation and quality time, I guess, with my cousin. Than it is about fame or you know, being big or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's not really our main priority here.
Yeah, but there are people out there who do have that main priority, who would be like, they set up everything so that they can become famous off of it. And I feel like actually TikTok realizes this is like the part where people call out TikTok for. They realize this, and that's how their platform has become so big, because it's actually like a feature, not a feature. It's something in TikTok's algorithm to intentionally make like no-name people, not no-name, but like a certain individuals famous off of like one TikTok. And then you notice this where some person will their TikTok will blow up, and they'll just start making a bunch more TikToks, trying to get it out there. And that's what TikTok does. Like their algorithm is literally built to blow up someone and give them that hit of like saying, oh, like anyone can do this, and then someone else will see that, and it will drive more people to start posting on their page because they feel like they can get they can blow up next.
Speaking of TikTok, follow
us on TikTok. Exactly.
But you're absolutely right, and that's a very interesting concept, but like low key smart.
Well, yeah, because now companies are realizing that everybody wants to be famous. Everyone wants recognition, right? So now they literally built it into their algorithm to make it work for them, and that's why I believe TikTok is one of the biggest apps these days, because anyone can blow up on there.
That's true.
Like on Instagram, you have to be following the person, in order to blow up, right?
Yeah.
On YouTube, like now YouTube is so saturated that you have to make it on another platform and then move over people to the other platform, to YouTube, to be able to blow up, because their not For You page, but what do you call their thing? They're like their Discover page or dashboard or whatever is very curated for that one person. So it's very unlikely that you'll get someone who has very little views and kind of like blow up from there. But TikTok is like everyone's on equal level. True. Even people have millions of followers to someone who has like 5. You're on equal level when it comes to how your like content will be distributed, and that's why it's become so popular. But I think that's maybe getting away from the whole have we lost our empathy as a society, or maybe we have covered it a little bit as why we've lost our empathy, is because like how do I clear this out? I want to make sure I always want to put something like a concise like block to say, okay, this is why. But maybe it's a bunch of different reasons, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not one specific thing. I think you know, one of them is the fact that social media has made things very instantaneous. But also relating back to the topic we spoke about, I think, you know, everyone is kind of focused on themselves, and that kind of, it's like, remember when we were talking about this a couple podcasts ago, where we said like, you know, if I told you like, oh, Amir, I'm so tired today, and you'd be like, well, I'm even more tired. I only had 4 hours of sleep. Like, you see how that like, like it's a competition of who's suffering more.
So maybe that's what it is, because it's such a competition, right? Okay, yeah, I feel like it maybe the idea of everyone kind of trying to show that they're going through something even worse, or like they're doing maybe something even better, or like they're more accomplished than this person. Maybe that competition there has really just made everybody out for themselves. But I feel like, okay, on the other side of this, the byproduct of the fact that we've lost our empathy as a society is what we're seeing now when it comes to how easily news or the internet can put people on different sides of an argument, like can really make people stick on their extremes of their ideas and pit people against each other. And we've seen that with like Trump, and we've seen that with this anti-vax situation.
True.
Anywhere in the world, like you'll find the internet. We've seen it with the Rohingya Muslims. Is it Rohingya? Shoot, I gotta make sure I get this properly.
Can you search it up?
But essentially, it was I think Buddhists in India who were attacking Muslims because of things they saw on, Rohingya, exactly. They were attacking Muslims because of some conspiracies that were put up against them on Facebook, and people were falling for it. And then there was 2 sides created, and the Muslims, of course, they had no like side in this fight. They weren't really doing what the internet was claiming they were doing.
Right.
Does it actually explain what they were going through over there?
Let's talk about the refugee crisis, but let me search up the actual.
You say search like what caused the Rohingya attacks. Hopefully, I'm saying that right.
I think so.
What is the solution? What is the problem? Outbreak of violence against the Rakhine state in Myanmar. It has forced hundreds of thousands of Rohingya. No, not that one. What caused it? Right there. Refugee caused by the Rohingya people having long-faced violence and discrimination in Myanmar. Well, okay. It's not really... You're a bad Jamie today, Sarah. What is this?
Who's Jamie?
You don't know Jamie?
Not this again. Okay.
Okay, whatever. It's like Jamie is a research guy for Joe Rogan on his podcast.
Okay,
well,
yeah.
he's really the producer and the research guy. But yeah, but essentially it was a people were getting attacked by things they were seeing on social media, or people were attacking other people because of what they saw on social media. And it shows you like they saw the enemy and they were killing women, children, and men. It didn't matter who they were. If they saw that they were part of the other side, they lost all empathy for that side, thought of them as monsters, and would do anything they can to get rid of them. And that shows you how
insane.
Our lack of empathy and be able to see the other side has really made people extremists on whatever beliefs they had. Whether it's something as simple as being anti-vax to something as dangerous as being like anti-Muslim in places like this region. So that's also a byproduct. The fact that when us losing our empathy has led to people actually dying. Because
I think that a lot of people...
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to...
You sure that's the most Canadian thing ever?
I was just gonna say that a lot of people have that like mentality of if you're not with us, you're against us, and if you're against us,
that
was a horrible like sound.
And back in the day, there might have been some room for discourse, but because of the internet, I feel like all that discourse has been gone out the window. Now people pick a side and they stick to it, even if all the proof is shown to them that they're wrong or that they might be misinformed. They will stick to their side because it's all about teams at this point. It's not about ideas; it's about teams. And the lack of empathy has disallowed people from being able to look at the other side and see where they're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not able to have like a constructive, not that they're going to have constructive conversations, but if they're not...
No, they could. You know
what I mean? Like if you're not able to be open-minded within yourself and maybe see why the other side is opposing you, then it just goes back to someone who's kind of stuck in their ways, even if they're not right. And they're just like, well, I'm right because I'm right. Like majority says. So
yeah. And unfortunately, that's what I was trying to get at with her lack of empathy. But yeah, that's... something I really wanted to bring up, at least something I've been seeing on the internet recently, because there's also that attack. It was like trigger warning for anyone out there, but like there's a woman who was being raped on a train in Philadelphia, and instead of
Philly,
Philadelphia,
what?
she was literally being raped on a train, and there were people in the car. Instead of stopping him,
what?
They literally started filming this.
Are you kidding me?
No, it happened literally in Philadelphia, and that's what like spurred this whole thought.
Wow.
I should probably opened with that, but still.
Wow.
But it shows you how people have just lost their ability to be human for a minute, and realize what's going on in front of them.
That is insane. That's actually, I'm kind of shook right now.
And that encapsulates it really encapsulates it very well. The fact that people saw something horrible happening in front of them, and instead of doing something about it, they started filming it for whatever they wanted. I don't know why they would film it, but
It's crazy because like you would think, like you would think that these types of issues happen in like third world countries, and that's a very ignorant thing to say, but like this is literally happening in America. Like
it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. I know, but like that's just wow.
Yeah, so that was one thing I wanted to bring out there, and I guess we can kind of finish off here with something we were supposed to do last week, which is I feel like it wasn't even appropriate to do it this week.
What?
We were supposed to talk about like Squid Game and like
didn't we though?
We never did the spoiler cast or whatever on it, like the final spoilers.
Oh yeah, because I watched it.
Should we do that? I feel like we talked about like some heavy stuff here.
I know, right?
Will it be out of character to kind of put that in here? I don't know. Should we finish up?
I guess this is a short one. You know what? Okay, so we've kind of like danced around this topic a little bit, but if you guys, we're thinking of doing a Q&A because, I feel like Amir and I kind of cover so many different topics that we never, like, we do talk about ourselves, but, we want to open up the floor to you guys. So if you have any questions that you want to ask us, we're going to be doing it on our Instagram. I think the day before, a couple days before we actually film and record that episode. But while you're listening to this one, if you have any, send them our way. Comment on the YouTube video below or DM us. Let us know, and we're going to include your question in that episode hopefully soon.
And make sure you subscribe, even if you're okay, guys, you audio listeners. I need your help here, okay? I know I see you guys. You're listening to the audio, and like if y'all just like subscribed to the YouTube channel, even if you're not gonna watch, just subscribe to the channel. Just so you have it there, trying to get those numbers up. We're trying to
make your sister an account, make your brother, your mom,
exactly.
Your grandfather.
Just subscribe it. We're trying to get that monetization. You know what I'm saying? I need a camera. Our camera died last week. Oh, I didn't even mention that. Our camera died last week. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know why? Because I ain't got no memory on that damn phone.
It's not even a camera. It's literally a phone.
Yeah, it's a phone. Okay.
So we ultimately just want to elevate our content and make the quality even better for you guys. And if we're able to do that, I think it'll make the experience, the viewing or listening experience, even that much better for you guys.
Exactly. And also, we do have, I know we started the Spotlight series like a few episodes ago. We do have guests lined up for that. So get ready for that. We're going to have
one in particular that a lot of you have been asking about. Okay.
Yeah. We got a big one coming, hopefully.
Soon. If she don't flop.
Yeah, exactly. Why'd you say she?
If they,
exactly. We're trying to be politically correct. We don't know how she identified. No,
don't be doing all that. No, don't be doing all that.
You see, you feel like he thought shame in my bio now. I feel like, are we gonna get slapped? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's fine.
But yeah, thanks again, guys, for listening. Like I mentioned, subscribe to us on YouTube.
And Spotify.
And whatever page you're on Apple Podcasts. Exactly.
And everything. TikTok. Instagram.
If you guys have any topics you want us to cover, go to our YouTube page, subscribe first, and then leave it in a comment.
We will only look at our YouTube comments, okay?
Or I guess you can DM us or whatever, or leave in a comment somewhere else. YouTube probably best. And what else? Oh yeah, you can follow us on Instagram at Cousin Connection Pod. You can follow us on TikTok at Cousin Connection Podcast.
No, it's just
Pod. Okay. I made the page. How am I forgetting the name?
Come on.
You can also follow me at Amir Was Taken on Instagram.
And follow me at Alisara with 2 underscores.
Yeah. And is there anything else I'm forgetting? Nah, I think we're good. Yeah. Okay, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Oh.
What?
I didn't get to say bye.
Well, it was my thing at first. I'm just saying.
Well, it's our thing now.
Okay.
So.
Bye.
Bye.